Hey Eagle fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into Philadelphia Eagles Now. Today's video is brought to you guys by Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com/chat for 20% off your first order plus free shipping. The link right now is down below in the description box. It's a Friday. You know what that means. The latest Eagles news and rumors. There's some juicy stuff going on right now, including the latest on Carson Wentz, an update on Trevor Lawrence's pro day today. We're going to talk about it, but you'll see why. And of course, the Jalen Hurts passing academy seems to be in full effect. Let's start though with the latest on Carson Wentz. Here we are. A week after we started hearing, or a week later, I should say, we started hearing early this week that the Carson Wentz deal was imminent and it was going to happen any day now. Well, things have cooled off, and I'll explain why. So the trade market, apparently, according to reports, has cooled down because Philadelphia is trying to get the most they possibly can for Carson Wentz. Shocker. Like, you're telling me the Eagles want to get a lot for Carson Wentz, and teams don't want to pay a lot for Carson Wentz. Wow. Who would have thought we would have been here? Well, that's where we're at right now. So the report is the Eagles want a Matthew Stafford-like return. No surprise there. And it looks like the Bears are the favorites right now, although they are getting impatient, according to multiple sources. Let's start right now with the NJ.com article. It has a great write-up on the current state of Carson Wentz. Throw that quote up on the screen. Quote, the Eagles are remaining firm on their asking price for Carson Wentz, and the trade market has cooled. A person with knowledge on the Eagles negotiations who was granted anonymity so he could speak freely on an impending trade told NJ Advanced Media that potential trade partners have remained, quote, disciplined in negotiations, unwilling to meet the Eagles' demands. So you're telling me that there's a negotiation going on right now, and neither side wants to, quote, give up too much for Carson Wentz or to give away Carson Wentz. Blows my mind. I mean, this is just breaking news stuff here. Go to the next quote here in terms from NJ.com. It says, quote, the NFC Colts have asked for additional compensation, players or picks, along with Wentz in order to get close to the Eagles' demands. According to a third person with knowledge of negotiations, who's also granted anonymity, the person said another undisclosed Eagles player has been brought up in discussions. Man, this is... Okay, a lot to break down here. First off, again, if Wentz is traded right now, tomorrow, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, whenever it is, we'll cover it here on Philadelphia Eagles Now, your one-stop shop. Make sure you guys are subscribed for the latest Eagles news and rumors here. The whole breakdown in this, like I just said, I'm joking about saying shocker here, the negotiations are happening. Obviously, that's what's happening right now. The problem Philadelphia is having from their perspective is they don't want to trade away Carson Wentz for nothing and then him turn out to be a really good player, and then we look back 5 years from now and said, wow, the Eagles got completely hosed in this trade negotiations. They want a Matthew Stafford-like return. That way they can go to the Eagle fan, 5 years from now, if Carson Wentz turned out to be a really good player, and they say, well, at least we still got a quality return for a quality quarterback like what the Lions got for Stafford. As you see on your screen right now, the Lions, of course, got 2 first-round draft picks, a third-round draft pick, and Jared Goff, and the Rams got Matthew Stafford. So they're trying to make sure if Carson Wentz turns out to not be a broken quarterback, which I've said before he's not, you get him in the right system with healthy people around him, I think he can still play really, really well. But if that turns out to be the case and he's a really good player for another team, the Eagles want to be able to, have their own back and not look like idiots in terms of trading him away before he got to his prime. Now, well, moving over to the Bears side of this, and also, trading to Indy makes more sense because they want to go ahead and get him out of the NFC, which you'll see here. The Bears Report podcast had this quote saying, quote, so from what I understand, the Bears made an offer that was bigger than what the Colts has already offered. The Bears had previously offered 2 seconds, so it was bigger than that. And they went back to the Colts, the Eagles did, and the Colts said they weren't budging. And from what I understand, what the Colts had offered was somewhat similar to what the Bears had already offered, but maybe a little bit less. But the Eagles want Carson Wentz out of the NFC so much that they were able to maybe take a little bit less. Okay, so again, the thought process here now is not only has the market cooled, it's cooled because the Eagles have gotten decent trade offers, 2 seconds and more from the Bears at one point, but they don't want to trade him to the NFC. They don't want to trade him to the Bears because, again, they are worried that Carson Wentz will be good for the Chicago Bears and then, beat the Eagles in a wild card round or beat the Eagles in a one-on-one battle in the NFC. If you trade him to Indianapolis, then you don't have to worry about him in terms of a playoff scenario unless you get to the Colts-Eagles Super Bowl, which technically can happen, but, the odds of it happening to me are very, very slim. So what does this all mean? It all means this. The Eagles are trying very hard to trade Carson Wentz. They probably will end up trading Carson Wentz. It looks like it will be the Bears. They will hold up for the Colts, but the Colts know the Eagles want to go ahead and get them out of the NFC, so that helps them out in the negotiations. It's a mess. The main point here, again, Wentz will be traded. It's a matter of when and not if. It's a matter of which team, NFC, AFC, but the Bears and Colts are the finalists. Just because it has cooled down shouldn't shock anybody. These negotiations will drag on for at least the next couple of weeks, in my opinion, or could drag on that far, unless the Eagles just say, all right, Bears, whatever, we'll roll the dice and risk sending him to the NFC. have Carson Wentz. We'll take your 2 seconds plus an additional pick, and we'll see what that is, obviously, in later videos. Okay, pin comment down below. That's a lot on Carson Wentz. What is Wentz's trade value? You saw there the Bears 2 firsts plus more, or 2 seconds plus more. I think it's a first-round draft pick and a mid-round draft pick. That's what I've been saying consistently here on the show. What is his value in your opinion? Comment section, pin comment down below. Okay, let's move on to what happens next, essentially, and leads us right into our next news story here, and that is that Jalen Hurts is planning a passing camp in Texas where a bunch of the young Eagle wide receivers are reportedly scheduled to go in the coming weeks to work on, hopefully being a decent offense, which they weren't, obviously, in 2020. This is something that Carson Wentz has done in the past, and the fact that Jalen Hurts is taking the reins and trying to go ahead and do this with the Eagle receivers clearly shows that they are expecting him to go ahead and be the starting quarterback in 2021. John Clark in Philadelphia, I believe from NBC Sports in Philly, said this on a tweet, quote, "I'm told a group of young receivers are planning on working out with Jalen Hurts in Texas sometime in the next month." Again, what is this? This is Jalen Hurts taking over. This is Jalen Hurts assuming the starting quarterback role and doing what all starting quarterbacks, especially young starting quarterbacks, should do in the offseason, and that is develop chemistry with your wide receiver core. You can argue that one of the reasons why Jalen Hurts struggled in 3 of the 4 games that he started with at the end of the 2020 season is that the chemistry between quarterback and wide receiver wasn't there yet. This stuff takes time to develop. In the offseason, it starts in the games and in the preseason, and so Jalen Hurts getting a jump start on this is, 1, not a surprise, 2, not really a big deal, and 3, I think just further cements the idea that he will be the starting quarterback in 2021, and so the hope is, right now, get that chemistry with the wide receiver core. Hopefully they add another one in the NFL draft, the way the Eagle receivers and really the Eagle offense as a whole can be somewhat relevant and not anemic as it has been each of the last 2.5 years. Okay. How about this question? The Eagles will win blank number of games next year with Jalen Hurts at quarterback. What do you guys think? I mean, it's early, but I'm expecting Hurts to be the starting quarterback and named at some point in the next couple of weeks, months, days, whatever it is. How many games will they win? The Eagles win blank number of games next year with Jalen Hurts as QB1. All right, over to our sponsor, Manscaped. Again, this is video sponsored by Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com/chat for 20% off your first order plus free shipping on a wide variety of products that I use basically every single day. Lawnmower 3.0, you get 8 hours of battery. It's got a light on it. Can use it in the shower. Absolutely fantastic trimmer, as well as, the boxers, the travel bag, the toner, the deodorant. It all comes in what's called the perfect package. More, all those products and more on sale right now if you use our link, manscaped.com/chat, 20% off your first order plus free shipping. All right, I've already gotten tweets about this, and so I'll just say it really quickly, because to me, this is dumb, but we must mention it. J.J. Watt was released today, and naturally, on my Twitter account, @RealThomasMott, follow me, people are saying, Thomas, should the Eagles go for J.J. Watt? Oh, but J.J. Watt would be great on the Eagles. Look at Midnight Green, be fantastic. Okay, yes, J.J. Watt on the Eagles would be great. It'd be fun. I'd be all for it. But there's a little problem called cap space, which we talk about every single week here on the channel, yet people seem to just cover their ears, and they're like, I don't want to hear about cap space, ignore that, and in reality, you get tweets like asking me if they can sign J.J. Watt. The problem right now is the Eagles are negative in cap space. They're about negative between $25 and $40 million in cap space based on projections we have going into the 2021 season. That means they need to cut people, they need to restructure deals, and they need to make sure they get under the cap before the official start of the 2021 season. That also means Philadelphia has very little money to go out and just sign big-name free agents like J.J. Watt. Also, J.J. Watt wants to play for a winner, and you can argue Philadelphia is a mess right now. He comes from a mess in Houston. Why would he want to go to another mess? It's not as big of a mess, but still a mess in Philadelphia as it currently stands. I'll say it quickly here. The Eagles have no shot at J.J. Watt. He won't consider them. They can't afford him, and we should just not even think about J.J. Watt in an Eagle uniform. I think you get a young pass rusher if you want in the draft to replace Derek Barnett or roll with Josh Sweat. But this whole idea of Watt to the Eagles, it physically can't happen just due to money, unless he literally only wants to play for Philadelphia, which is not going to happen because he'll be a Niner, he'll be a Steeler, he'll be one of the other legit contenders in both the AFC and NFC. Move on from that. Okay, final news story here. I mentioned Trevor Lawrence. You're probably asking me why. Well, we need to announce this, and this to me, again, is a nothing burger because people are going to overreact about this. And I feel like most of my job covering the Eagles is just me not overreacting to things that other people overreact to, but I digress. So, Trevor Lawrence had his pro day today. I watched it. He had 50 throws. He looked great. He looked fantastic. Urban Meyer was front and center, the Jaguars' new head coach. Really, really great. The news here, though, is that there were about 17 teams. It was reportedly first 7 teams, but now about 17 teams who were in attendance watching the pro day and watching Trevor Lawrence throw, and they had Eagles scouts there who were in attendance, along with a bunch of other head coaches and college scouts as well, who I guess are watching watching the surefire #1 draft pick to play? I mean, like, people are asking, why are the Eagle Scouts there? And again, we'll get to that more and the reasoning behind that in a second. But first, SI.com had this on Trevor Lawrence's pro day, quote, "The Jets, Dolphins, Falcons, Eagles, Broncos, and Panthers will have scouts on the ground too. One of those teams told me they felt like they had to be there just to get the chance to see Lawrence throw and value him just in case." And I don't know what the in case is there, but again, this is not some sort of the Eagles going to draft Trevor Lawrence. It won't happen. He's going to go #1 to the Jaguars. The Jaguars' Twitter account put out a giant video like, "Today is Trevor Lawrence's pro day. We're so excited." Like, it's obviously not going to happen. The reason you go to Trevor Lawrence's pro day is to witness greatness in person. That way, when you see it again later on in terms of different drafts with different quarterbacks, you go, okay, I saw Trevor Lawrence at his pro day. This kid, insert his name here, 2024 draft prospect, whatever it is, looks as good as he does. And like that, I see a similar comparison. So you go and you make your presence felt and you send your people there in terms of the Philadelphia Eagles, but in reality, nothing is actually going to happen. Attending workouts is nothing. And a good personal story on this. So I covered, obviously, the Baylor Bears when I was, a student reporter there, and I was working as the lead play-by-play radio voice, and I was doing a ton of different broadcasts for the Baylor football team. And so naturally, I was credentialed to, 3 straight Baylor Pro Days, 2 straight Baylor Pro Days, and it was during at least 1 year during the peak of the Baylor Powers pre-scandal, and then down into the doldrums before Matt Rule and then post Matt Rule. So the Bears had a couple of first-round draft picks, potential first-round draft picks. Corey Coleman, the former Browns wide receiver, was there. I got to meet Jalen Ramsey. He went to the Baylor Pro Day. I hung out with him on the sideline of the Baylor Pro Day. But at these 2 Pro Days were Mike Tomlin, the Steelers head coach, and then Bill O'Brien, the Texans head coach. And I hung around Mike Tomlin on the sideline, talked to him, and he was great. And you kind of go, wow, Mike Tomlin is here, Bill O'Brien is here. Like, that means that they're probably going to take some Baylor players. They were the only 2 head coaches from all 32 NFL teams who other people sent scouts, but they sent actual coaches, right? And so in my mind, it was like, well, obviously they're going to probably, draft like maybe Andrew Billings, the great, at one point, Baylor defensive tackle, or maybe they're going to go and draft Corey Coleman, who knows? And then the draft came along, and they took none of them. So just because the coach is there does not mean that they're going to take this player or they're more focused on this player. It might just be, we're going to go to certain pro days today. Mike Tomlin says, let's go see what Baylor's all about. Let's go to the Baylor Pro Day. Off he went, and then he saw the players and went, not bad, but drafted other people. So attending actual workouts and attending pro days means nothing. It's good the Eagles sent them there. I think all 32 teams should send your people to big-time players' pro days, but this is a nothing story, a nothing burger. The Eagles are not going to trade up for Trevor Lawrence. Even if they trade Carson Wentz, which they will not trade up for Trevor Lawrence. Get that out of your mind right now. I will hopefully be the first to say, don't worry about it, move on, there are bigger stories. All right, ultimately out for today here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. Make sure you guys are subscribed. I'm telling you, like, crazy stuff is going to start happening in the next couple of hours, days, weeks, or months, and we will cover it all here on the channel. For Philadelphia Eagles Now, I'm Thomas Mott, signing off. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. See you guys in the next video.